All right, I want to welcome everybody to today's Hangout with Haas. This is an exciting hangout today. I want to just applaud everybody for taking time out of their day to work on their business. And today is going to be, the day that we're going to learn how to just dominate FSBOs. We've got an incredible guest here with us, Mr. Shannon Pyatt. Before I introduce Shannon, let me introduce who I am. My name is Haas Pratt. I'm CEO of Haas Pratt Success Systems, where we take agents' businesses and double them in less than 12 months. And Shannon is one of our clients. He has multiple products that we offer. He's a Listing Boss member, and I'll let him tell his story, but what he's done is he's really just taken grasp of what we teach, how we teach it, and he's implemented it. And as you'll find out here in a minute, the results will speak for themselves. And also have Frank Klesitz, who's a good friend, a great marketer, one of the best minds in the business. This guy's here because he is just, we can't ever get enough of Frank. He is the CEO of Viral Marketing. He puts these things on. He makes it all happen. He's a true asset to our business and a lot of our clients' businesses, and a true partner in our day-to-day operations. So I appreciate Frank being here.
Appreciate that, Haas. Thanks.
Yeah, man.
I'll be here. If anyone has any questions during the event, I'll be monitoring the Q&A box. So if you have a question, ask it, and we'll select it, and we'll get it answered here for you. So we look forward to that. And
we are going to be doing a Q&A too. So I know that Frank's going to be moderating the questions throughout today. But we'll do the best we can with the hour we have. All I ask is eliminate the distractions over the next hour. This is a time to work on the business, to learn from Shannon, to learn from Frank, to learn from me on what you can do to go out there and really just catapult your listing business. Before we dive into it, I want to invite everybody to come to our live event that we're having in Dallas, Texas. We're having our second annual Recharge Live Conference, October 22nd through the 24th. And let me tell you something, Frank, I know we were talking about this the other day, but the speakers at this thing are just unreal. It's
very good.
Yeah, it's a power panels, and we have multiple keynote speakers. We have Mr. Hal Elrod, who wrote the book. And actually,
The Miracle Morning.
Yeah, right here, man. I've got it. The Miracle Morning. If you have not read this book, read it now. I promise you it'll be one of the best books you've ever read. This book has transformed a whole lot of lives, and I love Hal. I love his message. And as soon as I read his book, the first thing I did was I called him and I said, Hal, will you be at Recharge, and can you come speak? And he said, absolutely, I will be there. I'd love to be there. And then he's going to be there. And then we also have Mr. Tony Jerry, who is one of my business mentors and coaches. He coaches the top CEOs across the country, including CEOs of Walmart, TJ Fridays, New York Life, Firestone, Samsung, Ford. Listen, when people are struggling, guess what? They call this guy, and he just gets them going. This guy has been a part of our business for years, and Tony is going to be there as a keynote as well. These two guys alone are reason enough to come to Recharge, but I'm just excited. I'm pumped. This event's going to be amazing. Last year was off the hook, and I couldn't believe it, but this year I think it's going to be even better. So go get registered, because right now it is early bird registration, and you can go to rechargelive2014.com. That's recharge, L-I-V-E, 2014. That's 2014.com. Get registered, bring guests, come. It's going to be a great time, and we're looking forward to it.
Great. So Shannon, what I would love to hear is, can you briefly tell us a little bit of your story of maybe how you got into real estate, and what we're going to interview you on is how you made the jump from, what was it, 14 deals to 60 this year? Is that correct?
Yeah, it was something along those lines. It was I did 18 deals last year. Just like anyone else, I am not one of those people that woke up one day and said, "Hey, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be when I grow up, I'm going to be a real estate broker." I don't think anyone actually does plan that. I think we have various different things that we do, and then some roadblocks in the way, and we change course. For myself, I was a radio broadcaster. I was a radio announcer for many years. I was in radio television. So I learned the marketing aspect, and I learned how important marketing was. But needless to say, I mean, if you want to look at it from a big standpoint, I actually went from being a shock jock radio announcer. I had a shock jock radio program, kind of like a Howard Stern, if you will, and now I'm actually a worship leader at my church. So things turn around completely. You don't always do what you plan on doing, but needless to say, I ended up getting into real estate by freak accident. It was just one of those things. It just I went to work for a company up in Columbus, Ohio, and the company that I worked for worked only with buyers. They did not work with listings whatsoever. I didn't understand the first thing about taking a listing. I was terrified of listings for my first probably, I don't know, so many years in the business. And needless to say, after just getting the listing boss, after getting fuel and diving into it and learning what to say and how to approach for sale by owners, I've been like, why haven't I done this 10 years ago?
So what was the point that turned this around? So you're doing 18 deals rather. Keep messing that up.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Predominantly as a buyer's agent for a brokerage that shuffled buyers. And then there was a light that was switched. Up in. No, go ahead. Well, what I want to hear about is the light that switched of like, I need to go after listings. Why?
Okay. Well, like I said, up in Ohio, and I'm not in Ohio now, I'm in North Carolina, but and that's a story within itself, but we won't go there. But anyway, the company I worked for in Ohio was strictly a buyer's agent company. That's all they dealt with was buyers. And so I got really good at working with buyers. So when I came here to North Carolina, that's all I focused on was buyers because that was what I knew. That's what I felt comfortable with. What I found out was this. You get a buyer, you drive them around to 15, 20, 25 houses, whatever. They make multiple offers on homes. They lose out on the homes. They lowball the offers. All these different things happen. And if you lose that one buyer and you've only got 3 buyers that you're working with, well, now you've only got 2 possible that you can work with. So what I figured out was, and the light went off when I was listening to Listing Boss, and Haas drilled this home, was you take your listings and you turn them into leads. And then you distribute those leads out to other people and let them work the buyers. Let them drive them around all day long. And that, to me, was when the aha moment. That was when it went off in my head and it said, wait a minute, hold on. What I need to do is I need to be focusing on getting listings, because the listings brought the buyers, and then I can in turn refer those buyers out, and I didn't have to worry about driving my gas or out, running people around trying to show homes that to people that may or may not buy. Because if I've got listings, I've got 7,000 real estate agents out there showing my properties. Sooner or later, I'm going to get an offer. Versus if I'm trying to find the one needle in a haystack for a buyer.
What did you do for your?
Especially in this market, and I see this a lot with other clients, just agents who come to us with help. They're just so tired of being ran ragged because they're working buyers. They don't have inventory. Inventory's low in their market, so they're working the buyers. And as we know, whenever inventory is low and you're working buyers, you're going to work 10 times as hard as you normally would because you're writing offers and you're missing out on. They're losing it. Got to go find another property. The whole process starts again. So. That's something I don't want to discount, Shannon, because you've done a phenomenal job of recognizing that. As I say, the curve ahead of you. You recognize that, and you've positioned yourself extremely well. And all great business owners and great agents do that. They recognize the trend, where it's going, and they shift and they adapt quickly. They don't let the market force them to change. They change because they self-reflect and they identify what they need to do. And that's what you've done a great job of.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. I mean, I have been. I feel I've been overly blessed to be able to do this, to do what I'm doing right now. But the key, Haas, and I figured this out, was honestly when you have that buyer's agent out working those buyers for you, and then you just kind of just pass those leads off. And if you've got a good, strong buyer's agent and you're taking a 50-50 split or a 60-40 split or whatever the situation may be, well, you're providing them with the stuff that they need. But what they're doing is they're in turn putting passive money in your pocket every single month, and you're just taking the lead and pushing it off. And then that way I've got more time to go knock on for sale by owner doors, and I've got more time to call the for sale by owners.
How did you get your first listings? So when you first decided to switch from being predominantly a buyer's agent to saying I got to go to listings, let's talk about the process of how you acquired them. So what did you do first?
The very first thing that I did, Frank, was I started working the for sale by owners, and Haas, I even tried this before I had even got involved in your systems. And what I noticed is I'd gone by all the old real estate trainings. The old real estate trainings will tell you less than 1% of for sale by owners actually sell on their own, and you call them up and you tell them that they're doing it wrong and they need to list their home and all this different stuff. And I can tell you right now, I can't count how many for sale by owners hung up the phone on me, cussed me out, whatever the situation may be, because that's not what they wanted to hear. That's not. I mean, I'm sitting here telling them they're doing it wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so, by me shifting gears and coming from a service standpoint of I have this, I can help you accomplish this goal. One of my favorite lines that I use, Haas, and this is not anywhere in your training, but this is one of my favorite lines I use, is I say, Mr. For Sale by Owner, 80% of my new business, not my repeat and referral, but 80% of my new business comes from for sale by owners. And he immediately says, huh? And I said, because I've come up with a program that allows me to be able to help you get your home sold, whether I'm the listing agent or whether I am helping you find a buyer. And when I say that, they love that, because to them, immediately, I am now on their team.
That's great. So there's a big shift from coming from a customer service standpoint. How did you approach the FSBO? Did you make a phone call? Did you knock on the door? You said FSBO is the first person you went after. How did you deliver that message?
Well, I mean, I've got various different emails. A lot of times I'll scour through Craigslist. People say it's a waste of time. I hear people tell me all the time, you sit there and you go through Craigslist and you pull email addresses and you email. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Haas says, 3 hours of prospecting a day, and I agree with that, but not all 3 hours is on the phone, because some of them don't provide a phone number, but they're in Craigslist, or they're on forsalebyowner.com, or they're on FSBO.com, or they're wherever. So I'll spend the time pulling the leads together, and I send them a quick email that says, hey, would you be willing to pay a 3% co-op if I were to bring you a qualified buyer? And immediately, as soon as they respond, I say, great, can I call you for 5 minutes and chat about the home and see if I've got a buyer for you? And that's all I say.
It's pretty simple. And that gets you the phone number, and they take your phone call then, right?
Exactly. And they welcome your phone call. They welcome your phone call.
Let's talk about that phone call. Can you go in depth for me? Let's role play that phone call.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, I'll just call you now. Okay, ring.
Hi, you're the agent that you want 3% of my house?
Yeah, not quite. I am calling though to see, are you willing to pay a 3% co-op to my company if we were to bring you a buyer?
What does that even mean? What's a 3%
if we were to bring
co-op?
a buyer for your home? 3% commission. Would you give a 3% commission to my company if we were to bring you a buyer?
Sure.
Okay, great.
Maybe less than the 6% that I don't want to pay to an agent.
Yeah, most people don't, and it's a tough market out there. So I understand that completely. Now, tell me a little bit about the house. Why are you selling the house? Are you looking to move up? You moving down?
I got a new job and I got to move.
You got to move. Okay. And when you got to take over that job?
3 months from now.
3 months. So you got basically 3 months right now from the time right now to get the home sold to be able to get moved into your new home. Probably 2 months, because it's going to be about 30 days or so to find another home roughly in the place you're going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Correct.
Well then tell me a little bit about the house. How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? Tell me what kind of updates have you done to it?
I love my house. It's a 17-bedroom, 12-bath house. It's 1 million square feet, and it has a gate that's electric, and I installed a moat recently.
Okay, well, all right, sounds like a great house. Now let me ask you this.
And I want to sell it by myself.
Oh, you want to sell it by yourself? I understand that. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, and that's a good thing to do. Now, let me ask you this: if you were to decide that at some point you wanted to explore other options, have you given a time frame as to when that might be?
Probably if I can't find any buyers here next month and a half.
Okay, so you're looking about a month and a half. You might be exploring some other options, things of that nature, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, during that time, if you do find a buyer, do you have a best friend or a neighbor or a family member that you might feel obligated to list the home with, or would you be up for interviewing some aggressive agents at that point?
That's a great question. I guess I'd be up for interviewing an aggressive agent. That'd probably make more logical sense, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, here's the reason I'm calling you. I've got a two-part reason.
That's a really good question.
Number one reason that I call you is this. I've got a team of buyers agents, and we call and prospect for buyers about 3 hours a day, every single day. And so what we would like to do is we would like to take your home, match it against the criteria of our home buyers, and see if we've got a match. If we've got a match, would it be okay if I pick up the phone and call you and say, hey, we got somebody we'd like to come through and look at the house? That'd be good with you, wouldn't it?
I don't know why not. That sounds like that makes lots of sense.
Absolutely. And the other reason that I reach out to you is this, because 80% of my new business comes from for sale by owners. And what I mean by that is not my repeat and referral business, but my new business comes from by for sale by owners. And what I mean by that is this, is we're able to help buyers get connected with for sale by owners. We're able to help you get your home sold, okay? And so a lot of agents out there don't want to work with for sale by owners. What I found out was I started out doing the flat fee listings. That's what I did for a while, was I listed the home flat fee for $3.99 or whatever, and I found out I wasn't getting any showings on the homes. Well, I couldn't figure out why I wasn't getting any showings on the homes. And so I got together, I got a strategy, and now I've got this program called a Smart Seller Program. And basically what that means is the race is on, okay? So from the time that you list your home, if you decide to explore other options, you could list your home, get our 89-point marketing plan, get your home on the front page of Google and YouTube under terms that would mean something to you, such as Lake Norman Homes for Sale or Huntersville Homes for Sale or whatever it may be. You get all that, and here's the best part. I'm going to allow you the opportunity to be able to market the home on your own while I'm trying to sell it, and whoever sells it the fastest gets paid. How does that sound to you?
That sounds great. There's no risk.
Exactly. There's no risk. So you're still being able to be Mr. For Sale by Owner. The only thing you can't do is put a sign in the yard. Of course, the state of North Carolina says I have to have my sign in the yard because I'm representing you. But other than that, you're welcome to do whatever advertising you want to do. And if you sell the home first, you don't pay me. Here's all I'm asking is that you give me an opportunity to send you over my 53-page For Sale by Owner handbook that helps you with some marketing and things. It talks about Facebook marketing. It talks about some really, really powerful stuff other than Craigslist. And so I'll send that over to you. I'll send you a copy of my Smart Seller Program and a copy of my 89-point marketing plan. And then what I'd love to do is touch base with you in a week or so. And if it's okay with you, come out, take a look at the home, sit down, talk with you. And if we can do that, then that would be great. And I'd love to be able to explain that 89-point marketing plan and show you exactly how that Smart Seller Program works. Does that sound fair to you?
Shannon, this makes so much sense.
Good deal, good deal. All I need is an email address, the address of the property, and we'll get started.
That was a great.
You know what I love about this conversation is this is a perfect example of being coachable. Everything that Shannon said was line by line the words that I gave him to say, the script.
Yes,
and
sir.
All he's done is he's mastered them, internalized them. You know, and he uses them through these conversations to where now you're armed to where nobody can say anything that you cannot overcome, because you're coming from the right place, right? You're coming from value, but not only are you coming from value from the standpoint you're there to serve, but you actually do have products and systems and programs that benefit the FSBO. Let me ask you a question, because I know my answer. The first 30 days of you going after FSBOs with this system, right? With this system, with what you're doing now with listing boss strategies and all that.
Yes.
How many listings did you take the first 30 days?
First 30 days, 10 listings.
10 listings. What about the second?
Right now I'm at let's see, I'm averaging anywhere between 10 and 15 listings a month. Of course, I'm selling them. I'm selling them pretty quickly, so it's like, I'll list them and then I'll get them sold. So I mean, right now I'm only holding 15 listings, but I'm averaging anywhere between 10 and 15 listings per month.
And for me, it was anywhere between 20 and 30, right? Of FSBOs.
Right.
We're not talking about
this is a much smaller area. I mean, I've got all of Charlotte, and Haas, if I branched out to all of Charlotte, I know I could kill it. But here's the thing. I'm focused only on the Lake Norman area because I know the schools. I know everything there is to know about Lake Norman, and I want to focus in on that area. If I branched out into Charlotte, oh, Lord, I'd be taking 40 or 50 listings probably a month.
This is what's so exciting to me, because I see this in your business. I see it in our clients' businesses around the country. This system works for FSBOs, and it's, and the reason is because what you're saying is you're not saying anything other than you're talking about your solutions, right? You're talking about you mentioned your 89-point marketing plan. You mentioned your smart seller program, and you mentioned the fact that you have 85% of your business is 85% is FSBOs or 80.
80% of my new business is for sale by owner. Yeah. Exactly.
So, and right now,
and I even use that for buyers. Whenever a buyer calls up and they say, "Well, I'm looking for a certain house," and I say, "Well, let me get you in contact with my buyer's specialist." I said, because I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but 80% of our business comes from for sale by owners. So we know about properties that aren't even listed on the market.
That's right. And Linda Moore is giving you a shout out. Good job, Shannon. So, and I second that.
Thank you, Linda.
This is what taking action and just executing does, man. Exactly, and that's what you've done. You've done it flawlessly. So let me ask you this, and because I know I talk to a lot of people, agents that want to go after the for sale by owner market, and a lot of people have different ideas of what the FSBO market is and what it's going to be, and their mindset, right? Most of them already have a preconceived idea what this target market's going to be like. And what I find is the reason most agents are not successful is because they don't have a system, an automatic follow-up system that keeps them in touch. It doesn't have to be automatic. It can be, it could even be this, you know what I mean? Like these little yellow, notepads. I mean, as long as
but that's not a system, Haas.
Consistently, yeah. As long as
that's not a system. I mean, you got to have something that reminds you. You've got. I mean, you're going to get to a point in and I've found this out. If I don't have certain systems telling me what to do and what emails to send, or sending them for me, like Fuel sends them for me. Fuel sends my postcards for me. Fuel does everything. Once I go on that appointment, it sends 2 brownies to them after I've left.
You mail the
2 days later.
You mail the brownie. You mail the brownies.
Oh, I do the brownie. I do the brownies all the time. I go in.
They're actually delicious too. You should order.
Oh, they're incredible.
But no, here's my point though, and feel free, Frank, to pipe in at any time, because I love this stuff. I mean, this is what I do all day, like talking to people about business. And I always said that the reason we want to do the Hangout with Haas is because it actually gives an opportunity for everybody listening to be that fly on the wall, where they can just hear 3 guys talking about business and getting ideas. I mean, we could talk about this for hours, right? I mean, it's good stuff. But let's look at as far as when you started this, right? So first off, when a FSBO goes in your system, how long do you stay in contact with them?
60 days.
60 days. And is that 60 days minimum?
Yeah, that's minimum. 60 days minimum. I mean, I put them on a 60-day call email postcard campaign. I've created my own campaign that allows me to I've taken your postcard campaign on Fuel, and I've taken the call email campaign in Fuel, and I've pulled those 2 together to make just one powerhouse called call email postcard for FSBO.
Okay. So this is that you call first, and then when you send the information, you just basically trigger something which sends out all these reports and videos and postcards to win the FSBO over a period of time, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've got it all set up. I've got.
Do you have copies of those in your office by chance, so we can see some of the stuff?
Let's see. don't know. Well, I actually use two systems. Hoss, don't kill me over this. I still use Top Producer because I've used it forever, and I still like the transaction management system part of it. So I put them in as a for sale by owner, and then it reminds me, okay, on day 2 I need to send them a video. On day 3 I need to.
But it's reminding you to manually send it though.
It's reminding me to manually send it. Yes,
so you can
it is.
Do it automatically, can't you?
I can do that automatically. I just have not gone in and set up all the campaigns in Fuel to do that, because Fuel is incredible and it'll do everything for you, and it does the emails and the calls and the postcards. It does all of that. Let's see if I can.
What I want to hear is not so much what you're using with the software, but what you're actually sending.
What I'm sending.
Yeah,
okay.
So let's say you just get off the phone call. Could you maybe very meticulously define your process of once you get off the call, what goes out? Let's outline that. Day 1, day 2, so on.
And clarify as well what happens on that initial call. I don't want Frank to miss that the initial call is you're sifting and sorting and finding out who's worth your time and money to prospect and who's not. The reason he asked the question, if I brought you a qualified buyer, are you willing to pay a 3% co-op, which is his first question. Then if they say no, then flush, delete them out of the system. He's not going to spend time, effort, money, and energy mailing them.
Yeah, even a person that says that they're willing to pay 1%.
Yeah.
I'm our $500 finder fee. I'm not wasting my time on that. I'm moving to the next person.
And the second question is how long are you going to try to sell the property on your own before you decide to explore other options? And that is to get a time frame, and whatever time frame they give you, that you can cut it in half, and that's when they'll list. Do you find that accurate as well?
It is so true. It is so very true.
Yep. And then what's the last question?
Well, the last question is, do you have any friends or family members that are that you'd feel obligated to list with, or would you be willing to interview some aggressive agents? Okay. So all he's done is he's sifting. It's prospecting. It's sifting and sorting, finding the tire kickers to the people that are ideal prospects. And then once they become an ideal prospect, and this is where most agents, if they're listening, fail at this, because they fail at identifying who's worth their time and money, and they get frustrated when somebody is wasting their time, when in reality they should have never been working with them anyway. So if I could, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
If I could interject here for just a second, I did that at first before I had your system. Is I was going on all these different appointments because I would just call up and say, "Are you willing to work with a buyer's agent?" "Yes, I am." "Okay, great. When can I come see the house?" And that was my next question. When can I come see the house? Well, now I'm at the house and we're walking through the house and it's awkward. Okay, it's very awkward. I don't have a buyer at that point. You know what I mean? That I can think of. I don't. Here I am walking through the house. Not at. They know nothing about me. All they know is that I'm there. So do I do a listing present? Do I try to do a listing presentation? Do I not do a listing presentation? It was so weird.
Sure.
And when I started implementing your system, it was like, you know what? Now they know what I'm about. And so whenever they say, and a lot of times I don't ask for the appointment right away. I had someone email me the other day and said, "Do you ask for the appointment right up front?" Now, if they say they're ready to explore their options right away, yeah, I do. But if they say, "Well, I want to sell it on my own. I'm looking to save the 3%, whatever," I say, "Well, let me send you some information, and then I'm going to check back with you in a couple of days. Make sure you got it, and then I'd love to set up a time to come take a look at the home. If at that point in time I come to take a look at the home, and you like the 89-point marketing plan, you like everything about the Smart Seller program, is there any reason I couldn't earn your business?" Big difference.
That's right. Big difference. And that's the exact same approach. I'm telling you, that's the money approach with FSBOs. It's the money. It works. And there's tons of FSBOs out there right now in the market because there's confidence in the market. And anytime there's confidence in the market, homes are selling. Guess who thinks they can sell on their own?
Every time. Every time.
So what do you send out, Shannon, after? I want to go back to this.
Okay.
The campaigns. Here we got a question from Jonathan of, what 2 campaigns did you combine from Fuel? And if anyone's wondering, tell us very briefly. Tell us what this Fuel is, Haas, in case anyone's wondering what he's using.
Fuel is a CRM that was built because all the challenges of having all these different softwares in different areas. So what Fuel is we've integrated with the top lead providers with Zillow, the RedX, Land Voice, Commissions Inc., Boomtown, all these other services to where we can bring the contacts into Fuel automatically without the agent doing anything. It'll happen in their sleep, and it will add them to a campaign in Fuel of their choice. It can be an email campaign, a phone campaign. You can mail them brownies and cookies and American Express gift cards. I mean, you can do anything. You can mail them greeting cards and brochures. But the idea is it automates the whole process, and it also automates. There's a lot of features in it like SMS conversations, which I'm sure Shannon will share because it's extremely powerful with FSBOs. But how it will automate an entire SMS conversation automatically, just based on a simple keyword.
So let's talk about the automation that goes out after the appointment, Shannon.
Yes.
What's that campaign? What do you send out that is triggered once you finalize and you leave the house from your talk?
Oh, once I've gone in for the initial appointment and I've actually sat down with them and showed them the 89 point and all that stuff, or actually I don't do that. I just show them 4 or 5 different things on a PowerPoint presentation, that I'm going to do to market their home and kind of keep it as short as possible. But what ends up happening is as soon as I leave there, I come back and I immediately, actually what they do is Fuel, you can set it up to where that if they text the word marketing to your marketing number, then it automatically stores them as a contact, which you already have them as a contact. It will just update their information. But I have them play along. I'll say, okay, now I need you to go ahead and text this, and they're laughing while they're going, well, okay, I got to put my email address in, and I take the phone and I lay it. What's that?
Can you show us an example?
Show you an example?
You have a postcard with that on there or anything like that on how that works?
I don't have a postcard with that. The way that I do it, Haas, is I make them take their phone at the table and do it themselves. So I would tell people what to do right now, but if I do, I'm going to be getting a ton of leads, and it's all going to be realtors. But what I do is I have them text, marketing to, and I take my phone and I set it in the center of the table so they can see that I'm not carrying on this conversation. And I say, I've set this up on my computer and we've got it automated to where it's going to carry on an entire conversation with the buyer, just like it's carrying on with you right now. And they're going to text back and forth, and they're going to get that information. And what it's going, what's going to happen is it's going to put them in as a lead. And as it puts them in as a lead, then they're automatically going to go into this brownie campaign, what I call brownie, okay? And so that means when I leave, they get an email that says, thanks for allowing me to stop by today, blah, 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 blah. And then the next day, they get 2 brownies sent out. And the best thing about the brownies is they come UPS, guys. I mean, the UPS truck pulls up at your house and brings a box. You know what I mean? And so if that's not impressive to a for sale by owner, nothing is, because they get a package from you after they met with you, and they are blown away.
Can I give some examples here, because I have some examples of some postcards of some other users. Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about those, Hoss.
All right, so look at this postcard, right? And I'm going to read it, but on the front of this postcard, it says, notice this offer is only good for the home located at, and it actually has the address on the card, right? So we use, and Shannon's using this variable data printing to where every postcard has the FSBO's address or name. In some cases you can put the picture of their house on the card. But why this is so powerful are the value propositions. If I mail this postcard, for example, to a FSBO, and it says at the bottom, text the phrase DOCS, that's DOCS, to 701-639-4414, and I will send the state-required disclosure form to you immediately via auto response. What FSBO will not request the paperwork necessary to sell their home in their particular state, right?
Absolutely.
And what's happening is when that happens, it kicks off a campaign that emails the FSBO based on the SMS conversation, because in the SMS it says, what email address do you want me to send it to? And it says send it to hosspratt@gmail. Then what happens is Fuel will mail it, emails them the necessary paperwork. In this case, we have text the word 90, right? And this is probably another one that you use. Text the word 90 to receive a free report on the 90 things you can't afford to neglect when selling your home. So, like, I know you can't see it, but I've got tons of these, right? So, I get them all the time. But, and then the gift card comes like something like that, I guess, if you have the, with the Starbucks gift card. Thank you for the referral.
Oh yeah, the gift cards are powerful.
Yeah.
Very.
So you see that, Frank, how it works. So like through his marketing, he's sending marketing pieces that are giving FSBOs what they want. Text the word net sheet to receive a certified net sheet on the sale of your home. And so every week for 8 weeks or 60 days, right? They're getting something from Shannon that is giving them an offer. Everything has an offer. It's not telling them what we do and how great we are as much as it is, here, we're here to help, we're here to serve. We know that, most FSBOs end up listing with an agent. That's why we are the ones that's why he's killing it. That's why I killed it with FSBOs, because of that same strategy. Other agents don't have systems, so they'll call them 3 times, and then that's the end of it.
Yeah, I'm taking anywhere between 1 and 2 listings a week roughly right now. I mean, I'm going on about 4 to 5 listing appointments a week roughly, and I'm taking about 1 to 2 of those a week every week. And the ones I'm not taking, they're getting put in that system, and they're constantly they'll email me. I mean, I got an email from one lady who didn't even want to talk to me, and she was like, she said, I keep getting your stuff. She said, and you're the only one still in contact with me. So let me tell you, when I'm ready to throw the towel in, you're my guy.
Yeah.
So, you know what I love about this? Then in Haas, we both have done a lot of these. What's the cost to be able to acquire? How much do you spend to actually acquire a FSBO client?
Are you asking me or are you asking Haas?
Yeah, Shannon. I'm asking Shannon. So Shannon, how much do you spend to acquire a listing for a FSBO?
Well, at the very most, I mean, obviously, I pay for my fuel system, which in my opinion is worth its weight in gold. But as far as being able to pinpoint a number,
mailer costs.
Gosh.
Wait, you got postage? What is it, like $100?
No, not even that. $50? I mean, they get 3 postcards over the course of the 90 days or something like that. So I send out 3 postcards to them total.
So it's maybe a couple $100 for the software, and then what, $25 to $50?
$25, and that usually includes the brownie. I mean,
to acquire a listing, people pay that per lead.
That's right.
Per lead, they pay that.
Absolutely.
And you're paying that for sign up.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. And the other thing I like about this too is there's a lot of different personality types in sales. You're going to have the ones that love hunting and grinding, the just listed, just solds, and the expireds. But then you're going to have the personality types that love building that relationship with the FSBO. And this is a very, very relationship type of a sale, isn't it?
Oh, it very much is. Very much is. I tried doing the expireds myself, and I'm sure I'll break back into that at some point. But right now, I'm so busy doing the for sale by owner that I don't even have time.
How many FSBOs are going to come in your market in Lake Norman? So actually, for everyone that doesn't know Lake Norman, it's a lake in North Carolina.
Yes. Right? Have you been here?
I've heard of it.
Okay.
I've been there.
I've marketed it. I think we've had clients out there. That's how I know of it. But how big is the market? How many homes there? How big is the population?
Well, I mean, we've got what we cover, like 5 different counties, and I mean, it's like 500 miles in diameter, just the lake alone. If you go,
you got a 500-mile area. I mean, how many for sale by owners will come on the market this year?
I usually see at least 3 or 4 new ones pop up every day, and the first thing I do is I pop them an email or I pick up the phone and I call them and I start my deal.
And you pretty much grabbing them all from Craigslist?
Craigslist, forsalebyowner.com, FSBO.com. Another good place, really good place, Make Me Move. Zillow's Make Me Move.
Shannon, I really like this approach.
It
seems like it's so simple. It's so low cost.
It's very.
You don't have to deal with rejection all day.
Right. You don't. I mean, because I tell them a lot of times people will call me up or I'll call them up and they'll say I'm not ready to list, and I say good because I don't want to list your house right now.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? You know, I just want to help you get it sold. Can I give you a few ideas? Can we talk a minute?
Sure.
You know.
That's great, man. So now, let's see if there's any other questions here. Let's make sure we get Jonathan has some questions. What are your go-to SMS campaigns that you use? Have an answer for that?
Go-to SMS campaigns. Well, it depends on which one I'm using.
Let's talk about
buyers.
FSBO for now. We're going to get into the buyer one here next. We're going to talk about buyers here short. Let's talk just about FSBOs.
Okay. FSBOs, I mean, call and email or the postcard campaign is great. If you want to take those two and combine them, which is exactly what I did. I didn't change a whole lot of anything. I just customized it more for the Lake Norman area. That's all I did. But I mean, the call and email, if you don't have their address and you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, which the cards aren't expensive, they're $1 a piece or something like that, $1.50 a piece at the most. If you don't want to do that, I mean, call and email is the free way to do it. Just use the FSBO call and email system. It will get you in contact with that FSBO every single week. You'll either call them or you'll email them. It's pretty simple.
Hey, Shannon.
Yes.
You don't have a lead provider that you're getting leads from, like Landvoice and RedX?
Yeah, I use RedX.
Okay, so you have RedX is sending you the leads, and I don't want to miss this either because I think every top FSBO agent does this. They have multiple sources where they're getting leads from. You know, they're not depending on RedX to give them all the data or all the leads. There's places that RedX doesn't look. They give you a good, healthy list, a great place, and a good foundation to start from. But and how much is that, by the way?
It's not very expensive at all. It's like $90 a quarter for the FSBO or something like that. So like $30 a month or something. It's cheap.
And then you go above and beyond that, and that's where you go to Craigslist and Make Me Move and all that those other places, correct?
Right, exactly. And I know you say, like you said, you say prospect for 3 hours a day. To me, during that 3 hours, I mean, it is making calls, don't get me wrong, but during that 3 hours is scouring Craigslist, scouring For Sale by Owner, scouring FSBO.com, scouring Make Me Move. You know, I need to know about every single home that goes on the market in Lake Norman, period, the end.
Shannon, have you thought of hiring a lead researcher to
I probably
do that?
could. I probably could, and that's probably one of my next goals. But see, here's the thing: within the Lake Norman area, like I said, there's usually only 3 or 4 of them, a day that are in the Lake Norman area. Now, if I was focusing on all of Charlotte, there's no way I would be able to do it. I would have to do that.
Okay. Cool. Any other questions? Let's open the Q&A. Any other questions about working FSBOs? I think the script that you shared with us before was fantastic, Shannon. The drip campaigns for the content. I guess, is that included with the fuel program, Scott or Haas?
Yes.
So all that drip content is included with fuel, so someone could probably go get a consultation with fuel and go actually take a look at all the content of what's in there, I would assume.
If I was serious about growing my business, it'd be the only thing I'd be looking at. I mean, it's there's nothing else out there like it that does what it does and what it's going to do. The best about fuel is it gets better every day.
Where does someone go to learn more about fuel?
FuelLeadSystem.com.
And then go get a demo and take a look at what's in that system that drips out after that triggers. Okay.
It's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. It is a business in a box is what it is.
So there's no other questions on FSBOs, which you're more than welcome to ask if you'd like. I'd like to move on to the buyer leads. And you said you these lists, you were working with buyers, handed you for your broker and probably getting paid a discount at that.
Right.
Then you moved on to getting listings, which has its own benefit. But also, it brings in buyers, too, because of the yard signs. Listings attract buyers.
Well, bringing in, people think that, if I go get a listing and I pop a sign in the yard and I've got my number on it, people are going to call me up and they're going to want to list they're going to want to buy their house. They're going to want to buy this house. And the reality of today is this. People don't want to talk to the agent right away. They simply don't. I do not get people calling my cell phone number asking about the house. What I do get is people texting Home 101 to 704-233-7656. That's what I get. And when they do that, then what ends up happening overall is that I get these abundance of leads. The good thing about Fuel is it automatically populates them as a new lead. It puts them in as a new SMS lead into my system, and I immediately just forward that list right over to my buyer's agent, and she's right on the phone with them immediately.
But this system too is it actually has like an automated conversation. So if you text it says, "Great, here's more information. What price point are you in?" Or it has like an automated conversation with them. Is that right?
It does. It does. It's actually NAR says we have 5 minutes. 5 minutes is it that we have to be able to get in contact or get that information that buyer wants to them. Okay, and with this system, what it does is it says, okay, great, I'd like to send you a link to that property. What's your email address? Okay, it's hosspratt@gmail.com. Okay, well, great. Thanks, Hoss. I thank you. Here's the link. By the way, what's your name? My name's Hoss. Okay, great, Hoss. How many bedrooms are you looking for, Hoss? I'm looking for 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. I'm looking to spend up to $250,000. At this point, when I send this lead to my buyer's agent, she knows what their name is, what their email address is, what they're looking to spend, how many bedrooms they're looking for, and where they're looking to buy. That is an invaluable lead.
And you got all the information up front automatically.
Absolutely.
Without even having to necessarily hire someone on the phones to ask those questions.
Exactly. It goes through everything. And I've gone through and I've really, detailed it. I said, are you looking to buy on the lake or off the lake? Or you want waterfront or not waterfront? You know what I mean? So I've made it customized for where I'm at.
Can you share your short codes with us? So Jonathan asked again, he's in his question, he wants to know, text blank to this number. That's called the short code. So text home 101 you mentioned was one. What are some of the short codes that you're using for FSBOs and buyers, if you can share that with us?
I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
Well, text blank to this phone number.
Okay, yeah.
Text home 101.
Yeah,
to this
home
phone
101.
Number
I mean, a home 101 through home 120. It just says for more info on my sign. It just says text home 101 for more.
The postcards, which ones are you using for the FSBO? Are you using text net sheet, text 89 to download to get my 89-point marketing plan, text testimonials to receive a list of testimonials, text vendors to receive my vendors because you're selling your home, use these guys?
Right. I use docs as one. I use 89, which is a really good one.
Docs to get what?
I'm sorry?
You text docs to this number to get...
To get the documents that they would, the state appointed documents, what they would need, such as their property disclosure forms, lead-based paint forms, those kind of things.
And what's the next one?
The next one is 89, which sends them a copy of my 89-point marketing plan, which Hoss has done in Fuel, there is an 89-point marketing plan. I took it a step further, and I customized it because I do, I'm a geek, okay? I'll be honest with you, I'm a geek. So I know how to get a home on the front page of Google and YouTube with keywords and things like that. So that's one of my hot points. That's one of my major hot points that I use. And so, whenever I go in and meet with the for sale by owner, I've usually already got his pictures from Zillow put on YouTube, and it says this home is a for sale by owner. The information is for the seller only, for informational purposes only. Mm-hmm. But what I do is I bring up my iPad and I say, "Can I log into your internet?" He says, "Yes." I immediately just go in and type in Lake Norman Homes for Sale, which is the #1 term, right? So I type in Lake Norman Homes for Sale or Huntersville Homes for Sale or whatever it may be, and I show him right there on the very front page of YouTube. I say, "This is your home. By the way, I don't have it listed, so I do have to take it down. Would you like me to go ahead and take it down, or do you want to go ahead and get started with the paperwork?"
And you could do that by just putting the address of the property in the title, for the most part.
You can do that. But it's just one of those things of, there again, it's so impressive by the time, of course they never want you to take it down. It's like, "You want me to take this down?" "Well, no, I don't want you to take that down," because now they're getting advertising. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but you customize. At least I did. I customized my 89-point marketing plan.
Any other short code you want to share?
The other short code is let's see. Hold on, what did I tell you it was now? It was SMART. Text SMART. which is where they get a copy of the Smart Seller program, which I've pretty much already sent to them anyway. But there again,
You can buy all these short codes through Fuel.
Yeah, well, you don't buy them. Fuel just gives you a bank.
If you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah, man. You can create. We have check this out. We have clients that are doing this very successfully. They're creating Facebook groups for, let's say, a farm that they want to create, like a neighborhood, and they're going on Facebook, and let's say they're getting, Durango Hills community Facebook group, and they send a postcard to their farm. Text the word Facebook or FB to this number to receive a private invitation to Durango Hills private Facebook group. Meet all of your neighbors, share garage sales, crime, meet your friends, meet your neighbors. And they're controlling these Facebook groups, and they're doing it through using the keywords and delivering the invitation through the farm texting. And so what's happening is these things are getting so much traction, and you know where I'm going with this, Frank, because you know what happens when you own the form of communication, and you're the moderator of the group. Man, there's nothing but good things that can come out of that, because everybody's saying, "Hey, Shannon, did you hear about the Durango Hills, Durango Hills Facebook group? No, here, text this word." That's what's happening because people talk.
Yeah. And you get and you become like the local market economist, and the one that, there's even what I'm doing here at Viral. The really secret power is organizing a group, and if you can organize for farming, it's really good. There's one tip I gotta throw out that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But Shannon, you're a tech guy, right?
Yes.
And you know how to rank high on Google, and I'm a tech guy, so I do it for a living, right? We're gonna have a great little tip I'm gonna share with you because I think it's so powerful. All right. So when you go into a listing presentation, there's stats out there that say, most buyers come from networking or finding buyers, through people's databases, right? Mm-hmm. That's usually where you can find really good buyers that way. Or at least it's a good selling point to a listing. You want to say to the seller, hey, not only am I going to create this great video or take your property and get it out online, as you can see here on my iPad on search number 1, but I'm also going to get it out to my database. Here's a list of all my buyers and past clients and centers of influence. I'm going to let them know that your property is on the market, and to share that email, to share that update with anyone that they know who may be looking to buy it. And they're going to go, that's great, So show them your database. Show them all your Facebook friends. Show them all the people you have in your iCloud account for your phone. But then here's where the tables are turned. This is really cool. And this is a great strategy to add your listing presentation is, but you too, seller, have a database. Think about all the emails you have on your phone. Let's look up your Facebook. Look at all those friends you have. Look at all your Twitter followers. Look at all the emails you have in your account. Don't you want all those people to know that your home is for sale? We need to get the message out to them so we can bring word of mouth to your house. And if you can show them how to export get them to update their Facebook with the property being listed that says, you're the one doing it. Get them to email everyone they know. Right?
What's
that the home is for sale. If you work that into your process, man, that's basically like getting the seller to let everyone that you're the new listing agent. And when their buddies go, oh, you hired this guy, I'll hire that guy too.
It's too funny that you say that, Frank. I've actually got an email made up that says, please, says, dear seller, whatever their name is, I created this particular Facebook ad for you, and it's got a link to the property, and then I say, please copy and paste between the red bars and put on your Facebook wall immediately so everyone knows about it. And they do that, and then what ends up happening is I end up getting leads from their friends, who are looking to sell because they go, oh yeah, well you're selling Joe's house.
Anyone's listing process.
Exactly. And it's so funny because I literally, that was an epiphany that came to me about 2 weeks ago, and I started implementing that exact same system, and I put 2 little red lines together in the email, and I put the ad that I created, and it says, Shannon Pyatt has listed our house for sale. He is using his 89-point marketing plan to market our home, blah, 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 blah. And then it's got a link directly to the property that is a squeeze page, and then they obviously will go on and sign up, and get more information that way.
Cool. Any other questions, guys? Denny, thanks for the kind words, man. I appreciate that. These interviews are pretty cool, and they're not sales. We're just gonna ask a question. We're gonna try to get the information. So.
Hey, Shannon, will you? Lenny's got a question. He's asked a few times about having fuel pages and creating fuel pages.
Mm-hmm.
I know we talked about that in the Fuel Nation on our private groups, with fuel users. But if you want to explain how you use those one-page landing pages, on how you use them to, I guess, what do you say to?
Where's an example? Give us a website we can go to right now so we can see how you use a one-page landing page. What's an address?
LakeNormanHomesellers.com.
All right, so let's go there. LakeNormanHomesellers.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm there. It's myhousepage.com/Lake Norman Home Values. Okay, so you're driving traffic here for a free value report, basically, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you keep doing that. I'm going to post something here for a tip for everybody while you explain how that works. So explain to us what that page does. Well, how do you use it?
Okay. What I basically do is, with that particular page, I just run it on Facebook. I run Facebook ads to it, and I say, hey, get the home, find out what your home's selling for, whatever the situation may be, and then they go in, and then they get that information right away. I capture the lead. Obviously, I've now got a seller lead. For buyers, this is really important because I gave this same website to my buyer's agent, and I told my buyer's agent, I said, when someone inquires on a house, the next thing you need to do is go in and go to this LakeNormanHomesellers.com, type in the address of the home that they're looking for, capture that link, and send that link to them and say, here's everything you'll need to know about this home. And they love it because it's invaluable information. I mean, if you see what that page will actually bring up, it's insane.
Mm-hmm. Haas, can I share? I want to share two things with everyone. That's all right.
Yes.
On our website, every quarter, and this has been killing it, by the way, is you round up the email addresses everyone you got, your buyer leads, past clients, sphere, bringing all the email addresses into one central system, and then you want to communicate with them and send them emails, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you want to educate them with educational videos, and that's what we're known for. But every now and then, you want to kind of jerk the chain a little bit by sending out a direct offer. So every quarter, I write what's called the magical seller lead generation email. And this is just a free email I post up on the website that you can copy and paste, mail it to your whole list, and it drives them right back to your house values page. We've had clients with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of opt-ins just from this one email. And it's all about how you write it and how you tie in like what's going on in the Dow and like what's going on in the news, and you take clips of the newspapers. It's really an email. And I don't know if this will go to everyone here, but I'm going to post this in the chat if anyone would like that, to the magical summer lead generation email. Do you guys see that in the chat here in the Hangout?
Yes.
You can take a look at that there. And then every Friday I get the team together at Viral Marketing, and we do like a 1-hour team training. I get all 20 or so of us together. And we did a 1-hour training here on specifically exactly how to run a Facebook ad for seller lead generation. And I'll post that there too if anyone's interested in that. I think those two things are going to help people. So send it out, man, and drive people to that page and report back to us some of the results that you might get.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's awesome. It's good stuff.
I don't know if everyone else in the Hangout got that, but other questions? Let's see if we got everybody. Jonathan asks, are there campaigns that you use after you get the listing? So like, is there a seller welcome campaign, if you will?
What I'll take as far as in fuel, I think, is that's what he's asking, is you would just do on your, most of our clients use some sort of communication guarantee where they call their seller every week. So they'll have a campaign called a weekly seller call and then weekly active seller call. And so whenever a seller is, becomes a listing, that's what they do. They add them to that campaign, active weekly seller call. As far as above and beyond that, I mean, you could do. There's nothing you can't do. It's just what is it that you want to do? But most clients use that just to keep at least they're.
So it's the reminder for the weekly update call.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
There is content out there that I've seen floating around. Jonathan, if you go to getviral.com and click the campaigns tab, there's a couple campaigns in there that work well. You can load those up into Fuel in there. The content's free. You're more than welcome to use it. I have a new seller email drip, and that's something you can copy and paste and put in the Fuel system for it to go out for you.
You know what? I wonder if we could, and maybe this is too much, but maybe if we could put it in there.
Automatically. It's free content. It's something. It's up on the website. I actually have some good drip campaigns built, and they're free for anyone to use in any system. Because what's nice about the campaigns that I have for viral is they're not tied to a system. You can put them whenever you want, and they're available there. So you can check it out. Just make sure you customize it, because those are written kind of maybe based upon what a certain agent is doing, and especially when it's like, here's what we're going to do to actually list your home. That's a lot different for a lot of people. So that's when you're going to have to kind of change the copy in it to make more sense for you. All right.
And here's the thing on any campaign. I mean, I think it's like Shannon goes, I customize your 89-point marketing plan. Look, I'm all about, cut and paste. I'm all about that. But, there's got to be some sort of life in your personality in your emails that matches who you are. And it's okay to change things and to make things more, more of a fit for whoever you are, because there's a lot of different styles. There's a lot of different personalities. A D personality is not going to respond to a lengthy one-page email, right? Where the analytical may. So those are things that we're working on at Fuel, is identifying personalities, and based on the different personalities, it will dictate how we communicate to them based on that type of personality. So, it's a psychology, and that's what we're doing, is we're trying to master that. But, most people overthink it. All you got to do is just execute. And as you execute, things, will continue to become better. It's constant, never-ending improvement. It improves every day. Every day, your processes, Shannon, are getting better. You did not start with an incredibly powerful system that you have today. You worked to that and through that from making a lot of mistakes. In your case, it took 10 years, right? But,
unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. But you know what I mean? But now here we are. Now you have your new excitement. It's like now you're getting results. I know that's the way it was for me. It's the way it was for you, and it's the way it is for a lot of our clients. It's just executing and not overthinking it.
And don't be afraid to delegate. That is one thing that, for me, turning loose of stuff was tough. But when you get that right, for instance, that right buyer's agent, or you get that right transaction coordinator, by all means, let them handle it, because my time's better spent on the phone and going through, looking through Craigslist ads, looking through Make Me Moves, things like that. That's where my better time's being spent.
And everybody, obviously, it looks like the chat here that we're using on Google Hangout is only for us panelists. So I went back to the actual page that you're watching this on, and if you refresh it, you'll see the two links I put on the actual comments publicly for the Magical Seller Lead Gen email, as well as the Facebook. So that's good. Let's. I think we've used the whole time, haven't we? We're in here for a whole hour. That went fast.
Yeah.
Let's sum it up. Obviously, you're in the coaching business, and you've also created the Fuel product. Tell us about the options available to people if they want to take the next step to get involved with some of the stuff we talked about today.
All right, here's the thing, and let me tell you why Fuel was created. Was because I created a listing boss, and that's what Shannon was referring to. It's a step-by-step blueprint for dominating your market. It's a business in a box. It's what it is. It teaches you everything Shannon talked about today. It is in the listing boss, and I have over 3,500 listing boss members around the country, and some like Shannon, and then I talk to some people who are like, oh, I did it for a while and I stopped, and I'm like, why? Because I got busy. And I said, well, that's not a good enough excuse, because your success, my success is depending on your success. And I realized that I could make any agent successful if I could get them out of the way. Most business owners, they are the choke point. We get in our own way. And that's why where Fuel was born from it was born out of I saw the need that I had to automate these processes, the most important processes of an agent's business. The lead generation and the lead conversion and the lead management had to be automated. That's why we created Fuel. So anybody could have a business that's automated, that doesn't depend on them, that they don't have to do the exporting and importing and setting up on campaigns. They literally do it once, and the system does the rest for them. It does 80% of the heavy lifting. And so guys like Shannon, who are leveraging the software and leveraging his time through it, now look at what's happening to his results. He's doubling his business exactly the way that the whole thing was designed to do. And Shannon's one success story, and we will have more throughout the Hangout with Haas series here. But that's our job, and my goal is to make that big shift in everybody's mindset to start leveraging technology, because it can absolutely save your business. And most aren't leveraging it near enough. And so, go for it, Frank.
Well, I want to say we have any viral clients here on the call. We're always open, or I am open very much, these drip campaigns that we've been talking about, or if they want to customize them like you talked about, Haas, by adding the videos in, they're working with us. Sure. Let's get them set up, and let's get our team trained on implementing that through Fuel versus running it through some other outside program. I'm 100% open to that.
Yep. And Zillow just did they're doing a press release this week about the integration with Fuel. We are the only CRM integrated with RedX, Vulcan 7, LandVoice. Zillow's integrated with some, but not many. We're integrated with Zillow. We're the only CRM integrated with call information that will provide you a just listed calls. So it's it's all about integration. It's all about making the agent's business automated and easier for sure.
Yeah. And Don, you want to go to getviral.com and just click the campaigns tab, and you should see live. For the ones that I have done, there's some live Google Docs there, so you can see. And I believe there's a 30-day new welcome drip that you can just copy and paste after you make your appropriate edits, of course, into the Fuel system or whatever system that you're using.
Sure.
Okay. Anything else, guys? Or else we'll cut the interview. We've gone over 1 hour, and we want to appreciate everyone for coming. Any idea of what the next hangout with Haas is going to be, Haas?
We're going to keep it a secret for now. We have a lot of moving parts right now, and we have a long list of superstars that are wanting to share their stories, and I can't wait to hear it. The problem is I'm restricted to monthly Hangout with Haas monthly. It needs to be Hangout with Haas weekly, but we'll do it for now every month. But listen, I want to encourage everybody though to get to Dallas for our live event. I mean, Shannon's going to be there. There's going to be over 300 of the country's top agents there, and let me tell you something. Our event is geared to do one thing. It's not a pitch fest. It's not a bunch of cheesy speakers on stage. Every speaker is absolutely first class, and they bring it every single time, full of energy, and they pump so much content into their sessions that you guys. I mean, just go to Recharge Live 2014 and just watch the testimonials of those folks. Tell me those people are not excited and fired up, and you will be too. So get here, and hopefully we can see y'all here in Dallas in October.
Cool. Well, Shannon, thanks for your feedback today. You definitely
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I wish you could post some MP3s back in the day of being the shock jock. I'm sure we'd all enjoy listening to some of those bits.
That's a good idea. We need a little compilation.
I was wondering, man, when I first talked to you, I was like, you have a hell of a voice, and I was wondering if you were in the radio or something, and then you surprised me one bit.
15 years in broadcasting, man. 15 years in broadcasting.
Cool. Well, everyone, thanks a lot for attending today, and we'll see you at the basically same date, same time next month.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks a lot.